Watercolor is a free medium. The effects and results which you get are accidental. So one cannot say that this I have done, you do the same thing, or I have done this previously, I'll show you the same thing again. So it is not possible at all. In oil painting, acrylic paintings, or other mediums, it is bit possible, but not in watercolors. So first thing is paper. We need a special paper for watercolors because we use plenty of water while painting. Otherwise, while sketching or with opaque colors, we don't use much water like watercolors. So if we use a plain paper or normal paper, that paper does not remain plain when we add more water on paper. It puddles or bends and curves, so we cannot paint it properly, or we don't get those effects which we get on this paper, because the special handmade paper, this is known as handmade paper. We get different qualities of handmade papers. This is a matte finish handmade Indian paper. There are many imported companies who make papers which are rough finish, matte finish, or smooth finish. But the main thing is this paper is made of cotton rag. Generally, the paper which we use, a cheaper paper for sketchbook or other papers, are made of wood pulp, and this paper is made of cotton rag and linters, cotton linters. So cotton linters means small threads of cotton, and cotton rag is long threads of cotton. In Pune, there is a good handmade paper factory. So when I used to learn this watercolor, I used to come to Pune and buy that paper. It was a nice cheaper paper but good quality paper. So even now also you get nice paper at Pune Handmade Factory, and there are some imported papers which I have brought to show. So this is Fabriano, French company, Fabriano, Artistico Fabriano. This is a best quality paper. One is Archis, Winsor & Newton. These are best quality, but these are expensive papers. So once you learn, you can use these papers for best effects to get. Sometimes when you see handmade paper we use, if it is old paper or if it is not sized properly, then once you put water, it immediately absorbs in the paper. So that you can say that it is old or damaged paper, or it is not properly maintained. So this is about paper. Now about colors or paints. In India we get these camelin paints, tube paints or cake paints. So tube paints are better than cakes. If we are going outdoor somewhere, we are going to sit somewhere outdoor and we just want us to do small paintings, then cake paints are all right. You can use small quantity paints, but if you want to do bigger paintings, or it is always better to get wet paint, so you can use it easily. So here there are tubes inside which you have already got, and what I do is I also have bought a cake thing. Previously there were cakes inside, so all are over now, so I am using this to remove my colors. So all paints are ready in this. You don't have to remove every time that now I need this or now I need that. Then you realize no, I will also need this color, but you cannot wait while painting. So this is a better thing, that whichever color you want plenty you can remove in palette. Otherwise all these violets, pinks, blues, or which we use rarely, those also are readily available here. So it is easier. So even I would suggest you can do the same thing. Buy a small cake thing afterwards and you can use it to remove these tubes. So in Indian this camelin is good. Then one Winsor & Newton company also manufactures good. It is not Indian, it is made in England company. One is Raphael is also good. There are many more companies which manufacture good colors. So what do you mean by good colors? So color is made of pigment, then other things like gelatin and some more things. But when there is less pigment, it is student quality, because pigment is very expensive. So if there is more pigment, it is artist quality colors. So you should always use good quality colors to get good effects. You can use very less colors and get the good effect of fresh colors, and it remains fresh for years if you use best quality colors. But while learning, you can even use Camlin. Camlin are also good. I used to use Camlin colors only. And main things were paper and color. One more important thing is brushes. So brushes are of several types, several companies you get. When you go to shop, you get confused which brush to buy for watercolor. So easily available brushes are synthetic hair brushes. This is synthetic hair brush, which you can get everywhere. You get flat brushes, round brushes of various companies like Fine Art, Ujala. These are all Indian companies, and these are easily available can be used for watercolor, but not recommended. But these are squirrel hair brushes. You can see these are natural hair of squirrel. So these are very useful. Even sable hair brushes are useful. I use sable hair brushes. These are sable hair brushes. So sable is an animal which has very soft hair. So the best quality is sable hair. But mainly there are natural hair and synthetic hair. Synthetic hair you have got this, and natural hair is sable hair, squirrel hair, pony hair, goat hair, wolf hair, hog hair. So all these are natural hairs. But those are expensive brushes and not easily available. So these are really good quality brushes because this has a better water holding capacity. For watercolors, we need to use more water for big washes. So there are flat brushes, round brushes, small, big, all are useful for various kinds of paintings. Then these were important things, that brushes, paints and papers. The other things are in the list, that is Abro tape, this tape which you want to, if you are using single paper sheet, then you can fix that paper to the board with this tape. You get this ½ inch, 1 inch or 2 inch tape. So if a paper is bigger, you use broader tape. For small paper, you can use this tape. So fix it. So while painting, you can fix it on the board, and after painting you get a nice border. It remains, nice white border remains, which looks nice after removing the tape. Otherwise, if you are using pad, handmade paper pad, all these papers are fixed in one pad. You get rough, smooth, matte finish quality. So you don't have to remove the paper before painting. First paint, it is already fixed here. Instead of fixing with tape, it is already fixed here. So once you finish, let this dry, let the painting dry, then you can remove. So you should keep while going out. This is very useful for outdoor painting. You don't have to take many boards and many papers. So this is useful. Once this is done, you can use another handmade paper pad for another painting. Till that this will dry, then you can use the simultaneously. So this is very good. You get sizes in this. This is a 1/4 imperial size. Then there is half of this also is good for small sketches. And there is double than this, ½ imperial size. But that becomes too heavy. Already this pad is too heavy to hold. So for big size, it is too heavy to carry outside. Even you should consider the weight of the paper, GSM or pounds. So when you see the label, it might have written there that 140 lb or 300 GSM, 200 GSM paper. So that is thin and thick paper. The thicker the paper, it is better. So you should check that. 300 GSM is all right. It is good for painting. It's not too thick also. So that GSM or 300 GSM, or that is not the weight of single paper from the pad. That is the weight of full rim. Rim is 500 full imperial sheets of paper. That is one rim. So that is the weight of 300 GSM is the weight of 500 full sheets of paper. So if it is 200 GSM, it will be too thin. Then if you use more water, it will bend and turn. So all are good, You should use all, check all, which is convenient to you. Some people like matte, some people like rough, some people want more texture, so they like more rough paper. There are many qualities. You should use all and then decide which company is good for you or which type of paper suits you. It is good to use a big palette. So you have to make many watery washes, make colors. So remove colors in small compartments and do mixing here. So even with a palette you should fix the places. It is good to fix the places of colors. So all cool colors together, warm colors together, or all greens together, reds together. So immediately when you don't have time to think while painting, you should paint it very quickly or fast. When the paper is wet, you have to complete that wash. So you don't have to think, keep on thinking that which color is where, and then till that it will dry. So even here my places are fixed. I know which color is where. So I can easily remove that color and use it in the painting. And there are small things like masking fluid. You can mask some area of the paper and then paint on it. So after the paint dries, you can remove that masking and that area will remain white. So if you want to do tiny white flowers or grass or any highlighted portion, which is very small, but that should remain. Otherwise what happens, when you start painting, you just forget to keep that paper white. And you know, one very important thing is in this painting, transparent watercolor painting, we do not use white color. It is difficult to keep that part white. You just keep forgetting that we have to keep this part white, and otherwise once it is gone, it's gone. Then there are no corrections or nothing. That is why watercolor is rated as difficult medium, because there are no overlappings, no corrections can be done. Not many corrections, some corrections can be done, which I can explain you later. Then there is a little salt for salt technique, or a textural effect of salt, which I will be showing you. You need a paper cutter. If you have a big sheet of paper, you need a paper cutter to cut it into small pieces. I also have brought these wax crayons. So I'll show you how to use sometimes wax crayons for covering the area where you don't want to put any color. And there is one clean wrap I had at home. Clean wrap is that plastic thing where we use in the kitchen. So that is a technique for getting another kind of texture. You should always keep two containers. One is for washing the brushes and one is to take a clean water. So you don't use small containers which can get easily colorful water. Kind of pencil eraser is kneaded eraser. Kneaded eraser is better than our simple eraser. So when you rub it on the paper, it does not damage the area or the texture of the paper. Now I can show you some types of washes which are very important. You will find it simple, but which are very important. When you start painting, you should know how much to put water when you want how light color or dark color, and how to mix colors on paper. If you take thin color, how you get the effect. If you take thick color on watery paper, which effect you get, that is very important. So I'll show you some effects and washes. So first wash is wet on wet. Wet on wet wash. It's a kind of wet on wet, wet into wet, anything is said. So wet means you have to wet the paper first with water, then put wet color on it. So that is wet into wet. First you should check the side of the paper. If you are using matte, that is very easy to find out, because you have a matte texture one side, other side is plain or little texture but not matte one. So it's very easy to make out. So this is the right side which has matte texture. I am applying water. Just spread it, don't make puddles. There should be a thin layer of water. When if you turn it this way, you will say it's shining, and you will know that whole area is watered. So first I will be using this Russian blue, dark blue. Now it's a magic. Once you touch this, it will spread. See? And it's the fun too. So it spread as much water you have put, it will spread, and even as much water is there in this color. If you take little thick color, it will not spread much. Now I am using little thick color. So I have kept the thing that when I tell my students use this thin, then I don't tell, how can I tell how much thin or how much thick? So I call this sharbat and I call this color is paste. There is milky color also. If it is less thick, it's milky. Very watery, it is sharbat, and very thick is paste. So now I am using paste colors. Still this is spreading. I can show you here how to make clouds. Add little less water. At the beginning it was too much. So clouds, white clouds. For white clouds you cannot use white color. Color spreads but not much because I have not put too much water. Now there is a little control wash. And the form which you are seeing white, that is cloud. And the blue is sky. So while doing clouds, don't hold your paper tilting. Thin clouds, small clouds. Long you go, you see thin clouds or small clouds. Here you can see these are bigger clouds and these are smaller clouds. You can purposely make that way to show the distance. If you want to make more darker, you can add little blue, thick blue, when the paper is wet. If it will dry, don't touch it ever, or you will spoil the whole thing. Touch your brush very delicately. Don't just scrub and rub. This way you can add little color. No need to do so dark. So there are some examples of skies or clouds I have done. These are grey clouds. So I use grey first and then blue. Little yellowish also. So instead of only white, you can see grey clouds and blue sky. So one thing you will see, when it will dry, it will become lighter. Even when I did this was darker only. After drying, it becomes lighter. See, this is a sunset or sunrise sky. I have not used blue color here. So this is a different technique. Now the second thing is wet on dry. Usually beginners do the same technique. They just on dry paper you put wet color, that is wet on dry. But that is also a good effect. Color glows that way. You can see some glow and transparency in this. So let us do that. Now no water, just color. I'll use some yellow, bright lemon yellow, and paint it. Cadmium yellow. This is wet on dry. Paper is dry, color is wet. But you can see the two wet colors are mixing together easily, blending together. There is no such automatically even the paper is not wet, but because of wet color. So it's not necessary that always you have to put water. For each thing you have to first put water on paper and then do the thing. It depends on what effect you want to get. So this is dry, wet on dry. Now this is dry on dry. It's dry brush, and dry paper and dry brush means less water in the brush also and no water on paper. So I was about to show you dry on dry. So don't take much water in the brush. Use flat brush for this in the beginning, then use less water. You can even remove some water to get dry texture. You can press hard, lightly. You can do some curved strokes. For small areas you can use round brush. Once you dip it in the water, remove some paint. Make this dry. And then you will get dry effect. It's good in dark color. It is seen in dark color. This light yellow. Let's use red. But the color should be transparent. It's not that you are using less water means you should take thick color. Take thin color only, but less color. Then spread a little to get to it. See. So the texture is useful. Suppose you are doing a tree trunk. So when you paint, you will get a plain effect. On top of that, when that paint dries, you can do texture with a flat brush or this kind of that with darker tone. Paint with lighter tone and do some textures with darker tone. So that is useful for this, or some kind of stones or rough things. You can use this with. You'll have to try it with various effects and various strokes and various brushes. So it will be useful in many kinds of things. Now dry on wet. So you can see this I have done dry on wet, means I have first given a yellow wash. No. Dry on wet means the background should be wet and the top color should be dry. That is dry on wet. So I'll show you here. So instead of putting a plain water, you can put some color, any color whichever you like. Let's put orange. Instead of plain water, I am giving wash. We'll take thick color like paste color, that is little dry, not much water is there. Let's try red on it. Dark red. And do some this should be little dry, it's too wet, but you can see the color remains here and merges, the outlines are merging. Means if you put this directly on this, it is remaining as it is not spreading. But even here the center portion is remaining there. So when you want some form but the form is smudged, you can use this effect. The form should be seen but smudged form. Again this will smudge a little because I have applied this color on thick layer of color, that's why this is not spreading much. First color was watery, this is see now this color is little dry now. The background was little drier than previous wash. So it is not much spreading. So wet till it dries, not the whole thing, not the whole dry, but little wet should be there. Now this color is remaining. So if you want a light green background or yellow background on that, and you want green plants on top of it. So instead of painting green plants and then the background afterwards, you can just put yellow wash and then thick green you can use for plants. So you'll get this effect. But you need to practice this. If you get wet wash, then it will spread automatically, immediately, and you will not get the expected results. So the whole thing is practice. All the effects should be practiced. You should know how much water you are putting, what effect you are getting, then only start with painting, the actual big painting. These effects you can try as much as you can. Now these three are washes: flat wash, graded wash and mixed wash. So when we are doing some flat sky, there are no clouds and only sky, or a calm sea or calm lake which is having flat wash, that time you need this kind of wash. And it is difficult if you find that only plain wash is very easy, but it is very difficult to keep it plain. There are two ways of doing flat wash. First way is without wetting the paper. Then in that case you should hold your paper slanting and prepare the color. Okay, and this brush is very important, squirrel hair at least, to get a flat wash. If you are using synthetic airbrush, it is very difficult. In smaller areas you can use synthetic hair, but for a bigger paper it's very difficult. So now start from left to right. This holds so much color, so it's good for plain wash. And you will get a plain wash. Sometimes this is really actually difficult. Sometimes you get lines. After drying you can see all lines in between. See, this is a plain wash. If you want to make it is darker, that is later graded wash. Plain, whole plain. So if you leave something here, don't just go and touch it. Then you will spoil the whole thing. Once you have come down, again don't touch this upper portion. Otherwise, easy thing is wet your paper. So you should know both the types of washes. Wet your paper. Color automatically mixes because of water. For graded wash also you can put water, clean water it should be. Clean your brush, take clean water. If water is too much, wipe out or hold it slanting water will come down and wipe the area. Now this is graded wash. I'm starting with green. Starting from dark to light. Now from light to dark, or double color graded wash or triple color graded wash. Step by step you can add little so this is getting darker and darker. Okay. For this you need to do, I didn't put water here, so hold your paper slanting. If it is without water, hold your paper slanting. So this is graded wash. And the mixed wash now. Last one is mixed wash. Water for mixed wash. This is a real fun to do mixed wash. Something like abstract painting. You get abstract forms automatically. If you use good nice matching colors, you will get good combinations. If you use contrasting colors together, you will get muddy effect when they mix in each other. These are all matching colors I am using. Just experiment. If you just touch on it, how you get the effect. If you spread the color, so it moves and keeps mixing till it dries.